I rest my head on Raul's while he plays with. He growls at the honey, I say, be careful. You're me too hard. He kisses me to apologize and refocuses on the in his hand.
Disgusting.
Hi, Bim.
Hi, Nicole. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great. The sun's shining. You know, I feel optimistic.
Yeah.
I feel like that song, Be Optimistic.
I'm a little sluggish today, but I'm excited to be in the studio with you.
Good. I mean, I'm always excited to be in the studio with you because I never know what you're going to unleash on me. And that's half the thrill. This week, though, we are doing a lot of thinking about things that we can do more of. I personally need more sunshine.
Mm-hmm. Same.
I need more financial freedom.
Same.
I also need a lot more of two people that Netflix recently threw into my path.
Yeah.
The first is Alfie Enoch, who is one of the stars of a new series called Troy.
Yeah.
And the other is, I know, one of your long-term faves.
Yes.
I remember, I see your tweets. Who is it?
Raul Coley.
This whole episode is about people that we want to see more of.
Yes, give us more.
In better quality things, but more.
More. We need to see more of them.
Right, and I think that in addition to Rahul Kohli from Happy Anniversary and iZombie, and of course Alfie Enoch from Troy, but also from How to Get Away with Murder, he played Wes, our tragic boy.
Yeah.
There are two other people that we're going to throw into the mix as well.
Right. O'Shea Jackson Jr.
Right. Also known as Ice Cube's son, who has exactly Ice Cube's face.
Completely. It's just stamped onto him.
Just gave birth to himself. And then also, my bae and yours.
Yes.
Stephen Yeun.
Yes. We've talked about him a little bit before. Like
never enough.
AM to DM and a little bit online, on Twitter. But
but this time we're going to...
Yeah, we're going to
sit in it.
Yes.
We're going to settle in and sit in it. We're going to talk about Stephen Yeun. And to help us along this journey later on in the show, we're going to have the very, very amazing and capable and just someone who just knows her onions, both about podcasts but also about thirst. That's Miss Brittany Luce.
I love her. She is hilarious.
She is.
And she's perfect for this.
She really is. Like, she gave out like this dirty auntie chuckle when we mentioned the topic and the people we're going to be discussing, and her whole face lit up, and I was like, that's the one. That's my baby. Like, it just felt like, oh yeah, Brittany's come home. So so we're going to have a lot of fun with her later on in the show. But let's get into it. Let's go into this methodically.
Yes, I'm ready.
I can tell you're shaking in your seat.
Let's get started with Raul.
Let's get started indeed.
Oh, he's such a lovely, handsome, bearded young man.
Yes, he is.
I like him a lot.
I can tell.
I first saw him on iZombie, which is a show on the CW.
Right. Also the home of Jane the Virgin. Also a home of several snacks.
Yes, The Flash. All of that. So it's a funny show. It's an hour-long dramedy, I guess. And so when these zombies eat the brains of their victims, they take on the personality of the people that they've eaten.
Is that permanently or just
no,
until
it's
they eat another brain?
Right, temporarily until they eat another brain, or until it's gone through their system and they've digested it in their zombie guts. Whatever.
That's disgusting, but I love it.
So each episode is somebody becoming a different character. Right?
And is Rahul the zombie here, or who is he?
No, Raul is a medical examiner, Ravi Chakrabarti, and he is like the best friend of the lead zombie played by Rose McIver.
Lead zombie, my favorite. I love it.
And her name is Liv Moore.
Oh, I see.
You get it.
You did something there.
Yes.
Good job.
So Ravi is trying to find a cure for zombieism.
So Ravi's played by Rahul Kohli.
Yes.
I see.
He is funny. He's a big nerd. It's clear that he is playing himself, kind of, but just, exaggerated. Yeah. He's this big geek, and he's keeping his English accent. Raul's from London.
Hey.
And he's just very funny. Also just very handsome.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got this really great thick beard.
That
and then
beard
his
is-
hair.
Listen, I once read a tweet where someone said beards are often contouring for men. And I mean, I agree, because that's just a lol thing to say. But
Yes.
also, in Raul's case, it really does add some like definition to his face. Like it makes it just solidly, something solid
Yeah.
to look at. And to
Yeah.
you just want to touch it or punch it.
Yeah.
But like not in a violent way.
No,
with
no,
love.
no. Yeah, like with the boob.
Oh my God. I didn't expect you to say that. Oh my God, Nicole.
Okay, but also, so I started following Raul on Twitter. And, he's kind of an asshole in that very British way, which,
We're very proud of it.
Yes,
Thank you for noticing.
And I'm like, I don't understand how British people get this reputation for being so polite and so, like, kind, because y'all are mean as fuck sometimes.
Yeah, that's very true. I mean, that's how in many ways, that's often how we show love. So the meaner I am to you, in terms of like how I verbally, jokingly, jocularly abuse you, is truly, that's when you've burrowed deep into my heart. I'm like, oh, now we're together.
That is clear on Raul's Twitter timeline because he's always calling somebody an arsehole. He's
also
he's calling people a bellend, which I love.
Bellend is a great word.
But he's really funny on Twitter. He tends to try to enlighten his audience, his followers, with things about racism and xenophobia and things like that, because people, they give him a lot of shit sometimes.
I really do, and I understand why people do, and I wouldn't tell people to do otherwise. And I always feel terrible when I see a person of color having to, well, first of all, they have their entire lives reduced to simply their race, which is, unfair. But then having to constantly speak out on it. And that's the other thing as well. Just having brown skin, by the way, doesn't make you an expert on any of these things.
Right.
But somehow you're called upon to kind of speak for yourself and everyone else. And it's a very difficult thing, because if you don't talk about it, you get some shit. If you do talk about it, you get some shit. So I'm always very curious about how gracefully people maneuver under these horrific circumstances of having to exist online. But you have to fit all these different like ideas of what people think you are.
Yeah.
And he does a good job. He's funny with it.
Yeah.
And he's kind of cutting and really biting and like, what the fuck? And I appreciate that.
Yeah.
But of course, it really helps that it's coming out of this particular visage. And like, you've mentioned his beard.
Yes.
I'm a very big fan of his beard. It's so thick and just,
yes.
it just looks like you could live in it for like a few weeks before you went out for supplies. Like it just looks nice. But also, he has a wonderful head of hair.
Yes. That looks also thick, and then he like swoops it up into like this typhoon of love. Yes. I love it.
It's such a good head of hair. And not to be too base, he also has these really lovely lips.
Yes.
They're just nice.
Yes.
And every time he kind of talks, sometimes he purses his lips when he's thinking, and I'm just like, that's my only thought. My whole head is just, that's all I can
And he's
think.
got amazing eyebrows.
Yes, he does. And I love dudes with eyebrows. Well, that sounds weird. With good eyebrows. Okay? You need to have just something, again, if the thicker the better.
Yeah, and he's such like a, you know what, Bim? We're just gonna let that lie for a second.
That's exactly what we're gonna let it do. I'm sorry. Wow.
So I mentioned that he's, geeky. He plays a lot of video games. He's a total Star Wars nerd, all of that kind of stuff. And so a lot of his stuff on social media is talking about gaming and nerd stuff or whatever. And then every now and then he'll hit you with this kind of thirst trap picture of his face, like he's from the side, his profile.
He has a great profile.
Yes, and he's arching that eyebrow.
Listen.
Bitch. He's like, yes, I'm a geek. Yes, I'm an actor, but you're going to get this smolder. Look at this. I love it.
Do you know how hot he is? He makes me not hate that he plays guitar.
Yes, because he does play guitar.
I know, but I don't have time for men who play guitar.
And
get the fuck out.
When he's showing that he's playing guitar, like on his Instagram or whatever and Snapchat, it's always something like fucking Wonderwall or something that's like
real cheese ball.
Yeah.
No man should play guitar unless you're like in a fucking huge rock band.
Yeah.
Don't pick it up recreationally. Just put the guitar down.
Put it down.
Just be hot and be smart and be talented in other ways.
Yeah.
But don't play any fucking... No, anyway, here's Wonderwall. I don't want any of that. Instead of that, why don't you just squint at me and purse your lips?
Yes, he's got a great squint.
He's just very, very hot. And I'm sorry, but I feel like Hollywood is missing such a trick.
Yeah.
Because if you're looking for tall, dark, and handsome, Hello.
A lot of his fans from iZombie kind of did like this little, not a real campaign, but they were like, make him the next Bond. And he was like, I would love to have done that at some point, but he doesn't think that he's the perfect person for it or whatever. But I could totally see him.
I could see him, if not Bond, because to be honest, I love the Bond movies, but fuck it, man, what a holdover from a very different era. If, however, they were to give Raoul some kind of spy vehicle where he just gets to be all kind of smoldery and actiony, I would 100% be in the cinema. Also, let's be very real. He's working in America on the CW, not in the UK. So, to be honest, he knows that of which he speaks. He's doing a lot of his. He's doing all this work out here in the US, because the UK is still. I'm not saying the US is that much better,
right,
but it's still better than that fucking rainy island that we call home. So he's clearly out here just trying to just do what he wants to do. And I appreciate that. And I just feel like he's made the effort, Hollywood.
Yeah.
He's come here already. Just fucking scoop him up, put him in a couple of really good... I mean, listen, I'm all here for the happy anniversaries and all the other Netflix movies, but also, man, just put him in like a... Put him in a big splashy thing. Let him. And he's funny. He's talented.
Funny.
He could do it.
And there have been scenes on iZombie where he's been, a sexual being. Like he's been a romantic interest, and he's shown some kind of muted sex scenes for CW. Whatever. Right. But still, like, to see him be a romantic lead is awesome, and I hope that he continues to get these kinds of roles. And he has a long-term girlfriend that that he tweets about.
Congrats to her,
right? And he's also very affectionate with his male friends, to the point that, of course, a lot of dumb Americans are like, "Are you gay or bi?"
I will say this though: that's not relegated to just Americans, but carry on.
Well, I say that because I know. But so they ask him about his sexuality, and he's just like, it's not anyone's business. If I want to talk about my sexuality, I will. I feel like he's just like, you don't need to know all of that about me. I'm trying to keep this distance, and also it's not relevant. I'm going to talk about who I want to talk about and whatever. And I think that's really important.
I think so too.
Yeah.
And I think this happens a lot to people who seem to be very sexually charismatic. Because then you want to think that for whatever reason this person is, whatever team you're on, you want this person to be on your team. I want them to find me attractive, or to potentially find me attractive. And that leads to a kind of like a very kind of in-depth. But the thing is, first of all, if you fancy Raul Coley, go ahead and fancy. It doesn't matter whatever team he's batting for.
Right.
What's the thing that Janelle Monáe said? I'm considering myself a free-ass motherfucker. Like, just live your life. It's not relevant to your enjoyment of his work. Not really. So why don't you just lean into your thirst, whatever that may look like, and just let it wash over you. So give him the shit that we know he can do. Because he's doing it weekly on iZombie. Give us more.
Yes, and he's so protective of his castmates, and he's so grateful for the opportunity to be on iZombie, because this is like his first major long-term role that he's had. And so he's constantly like defending them when people are talking shit on Twitter. He's constantly praising them and their upcoming projects and retweeting their stuff, and just they look like they're they have a solid friendship outside of work. And that's beautiful. So let him be in more stuff so we can see him.
We love a loyal snack.
Yes, just like be friends with everybody.
Exactly. And specifically with us. Come on the show, Raul, please.
Yes. We're trying to get him on the show, actually.
Exactly. All right. Okay. So let's move on.
Liv, I'm a tall doctor with fantastic hair and a British accent.
All right.
This guy, I know, is 100% up your alley / up your rue, up your strasse. I know that you are a huge fan of him, because I think he's cute, and I think, listen, I wouldn't say no.
Right.
But you actively want to say yes.
Yes. I think he might be a little too young for me.
I mean, fair.
But
that's fair. You can feel that about many. Listen, I mean, that's not right, that's not wrong. It's just the way you feel.
Yeah, because he's like 26, 20, whatever.
26 is a very good age.
It's a very good age.
I remember being 26. I was amazing.
We are talking about Alfred Alfie Enoch.
Yes. He's just, I saw him in New York, actually.
Oh, yeah?
I was once at, I'm not such a wanker, but I was at a private members club. Oh, God, I hate myself. But there he was. He has this wonderful complexion.
Yes.
It's very
so smooth.
Up close, it's even smoother. And we were like, we were in the same elevator. And I was like, you know what? I accept it.
Yeah.
I accept it. Good job, Alfie. Shout out to you. Shout out to your Brazilian mother. Shout out to your English father. They did a good job and you're the result. But Alfie has you know what I like about Alfie's face? It's incredibly open.
Yes.
I feel like every emotion that he's feeling is telegraphed right across his face.
Yes.
I imagine he's a terrible poker player, but I want to play poker with him anyway to be sure.
Poker, huh?
That's I said what I said. No. Put your fucking Marlboro Light / Virginia Slims down, auntie. All right? Put down that bottle of Hennessy. I said poker. I meant poker.
Okay.
Thank you. Good day.
He's been in quite a few things.
Yes, he has.
Obviously, most Americans know him from How to Get Away with Murder and
Tragic
Harry
Ways.
Potter.
And Harry Potter. He was Dean in
Yes.
Harry Potter. Let's
Yes.
not forget the very important Harry Potter film. Important English cinema. Bless.
And he was also in an episode of Sherlock, The Sign of Three.
Yes.
He was the guardsman who he gets stabbed, and they're trying to figure out how did he get stabbed, and he didn't know that he was stabbed. So it was actually really because he went to the bathroom and he was like shirtless for a second. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Shirtless for a second. That's my memoir. Shirtless for a second.
And again, you know how much I love a little Slim Jim.
What's your wonderful phrasing?
A French fry of a man.
Jesus Christ, I hate you so much.
Just you know that GIF of Oprah when she's eating the fries and she's like, that's me.
Oh my God.
With
We'll put this GIF on our Tumblr. Don't worry about it. If you don't know this GIF, well, first of all, how the fuck do you not know this GIF? But we'll put the GIF up on ours, and you'll see exactly what Nick Holman, because she just acted it out, and it was spot on. It was actually spot on. But please carry on.
Yes. And I am not one who's like, oh, there's a guy with dimples. I have to have him in my life. But I recognize that his dimples are a fucking ocean.
They really are. They're so deep.
Oh my God.
They're so deep and they're so beautiful.
I've got this clip from when he was on the Wendy Williams show.
That's nice.
How deep are your dimples?
Oh, God.
I can take no credit for that. It's my mum. That's all my mum's doing.
Wait a minute. Okay.
Okay, but wait,
Blowing
though.
my mind right now. Exactly. Because you speak with an American accent on the show.
Right.
But clearly you are deeply British.
It runs even deeper than my dimples. Yeah.
Wow.
Oh.
Everyone's a little bit shook by that. Okay.
Yes.
Same. Sometimes the first overtakes you, and I'm oh. Wendy looked properly like, oh shit.
Yes.
He said that so simply as well. It runs even deeper than that, Wendy. Bitch, what?
That whole episode, we're gonna link on our Tumblr, but that whole interview, he is so naughty. Like his smile and his facial expressions, so naughty.
He's got the cutest.
I don't even think he's flirting with her, but he's just like, I could take it there, but I'm not going to.
Right.
And she asks
very
him,
innocent.
Yeah, this is from 2016. So
Okay.
she asks him about his girlfriend and stuff like that. And you talked about his open face. You can see where he's kind of like, yeah, I really don't want to talk about my personal life. I'm going to answer your question, but I'm not going to, go fully into it. Because as we know, Wendy Williams
She's Wendy Williams.
Yes, she's going to get whatever tea she can.
Right. That is her job.
Yes, but I love that little clip, that surprise, because nobody was ready for him to be like,
As we say in my country, she never espered it. That's fair. Do you know one of my favorite things on the internet is, well, first of all, I have many favorite things on the internet, but on Twitter, there's a lovely lady by the name of Boli Babalola. You may know her from having been on our show last season.
Yes.
Talking about basics. She bloody loves Alfred Enoch.
yes.
She tweets like these long streams of consciousness about him. So she does like a series of what she imagines Alfie Enoch to be like. So this is one that she wrote back in April 2016. Alfie Enoch is too stinking cute. He would remember your mother's birthday, memorize how you like your coffee, and there's a photo of Alfred just looking beautiful. There's another one. This is where she goes into her coffee order, as imagined by Alfie. Skinny caramel mocha, dash of cinnamon, 1 pack of brown sugar. He pauses, small, aware smile. Not that you need it. Bolu is insane. She's really, really insane. She carries on and she says something like, show up to the art exhibition your trash boyfriend forgot about with your fave flowers type of brother. Read your blood kind of brother. She sounds so thirsty and funny. And I love Bolu and I love those tweets because they do nail. And for each of these tweets, she has the perfect photo to accompany so that you can imagine Alfie being all of this and more in your own life. And that's how I feel. I feel like he's such a clear boyfriend material guy.
Yes.
Like a sweetheart.
Yes.
He's just really, really nice.
Yes, really sweet, but still
not boring.
that naughty side will come out though. Right. I love it. His former co-star on How to Get Away with Murder, Asia Naomi King.
Yes.
Who's beautiful. She's
stunning.
Oh,
she's a little chocolate drop of just goodness.
Yes.
Just beautiful.
A lot of people think, and again, we don't normally talk about these things, but, there's rumors that they are dating, which is whatever, but the pictures of the two of them together are, how in rom-coms, when like the couple finally gets together and then there's the montage of all the beautiful romantic things that they're doing and how like it's so beautiful to fall in love. Yeah. That's how they look together.
That's very accurate.
Oh my God.
They look like the rom-com that I'm yet to write, but I really want to.
Please do.
I really want to. What I like about him is that he always seems very natural where he is. Like he never feels like an actor. Maybe that's because he's a child actor and he's kind of used to cameras and whatever.
Yeah.
But he has like a real kind of ease with himself. So I was very interested when he wrote something last October. So October in the UK is Black History Month.
Okay.
And he wrote this letter to his younger self about growing up mixed race in Britain and seeing racism in a different perspective after moving to America for work. Now, listen, I'm not really, I like narratives of personal identity and growth and all that stuff. But, sometimes I feel a little bit kind of, like you just discovered racism and that's whatever it is, whatever. But this letter truly was something, it felt very, very sincere and we'll link to it. He wrote this in, like I said, October 2017. It was published in the Metro newspaper in the UK. And it was basically just him talking to a younger version of himself. And he started off with Dear Alfie, which first of all, I was like, oh, because I'm basic. And he said, last week, I was thinking a fair bit about Kwame Ture. You don't know who he is. And if I were to use the name Stokely Carmichael, that wouldn't help you either. Nor do you know Angela Davis, Huey P. Newton, Bobby Seale, or James Baldwin. I don't say this to judge you. And he goes on and talk about, there's a great line in there also. I'm like, oh, is he trying to be a writer? He goes, mine is a glass house, so I'm wary of throwing stones. In time, you'll get warier too. I was like, all right. Look at you trying to channel some Baldwin by force. Okay, do it. But he talks a little bit about kind of coming to America and finding a new consciousness that he had lacked in the UK, which is not to say that racism doesn't exist in the UK because people will glom onto it. That's how some people were interpreting this letter. Like, you see, it's better in the UK. And I was like, sit your whole entire ass down. Shut up. You're chatting actual shit right now. It is racist in the UK because it's racist everywhere. Surprise. And he just talks, all this stuff about being a foreigner or everything that he's had in his identity as being, outside of it and all of that coming together in America. It gives him this new perspective on his own ethnicity. And he's, asking about what it means to be black in, in a white supremacist society, and people are going to challenge you and some of those people will be close to you and all that stuff. And I just thought, well, you know what? Of course, not all of us get to write our letters of self-discovery in, a fucking newspaper.
Right.
But I'm glad that someone has, and maybe that will help somebody along as well. But let's get back on the thirst road.
Well, obviously the theme of this episode is that we want to see more of these people. And right now, I don't see anything on his IMDb after this Troy series on Netflix. And I think that I don't know what he's going out for, the parts he's going out for, the parts that are coming to him. But I wonder if part of the trouble in casting him is that open, cute baby face, because it is hard for brown and black men, or men who can be coded black, because, Brazilian identity it's
what it is.
It's layered, shall we say. But most black men are going to be cast as, kind of the beefcake guy, right? The hunk, the, smooth, aggressive
Yeah.
guy, smooth playboy kind of thing.
Or straight comedy.
Straight comedy, exactly.
Right? So, and even for that, you'd have to have come up as a comedian.
Right.
I think, Alfie doesn't really, he has, like you said, that face of his.
Mm-hmm.
It's not really, I wouldn't put him into an action hero role.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
He's not the next Will Smith in terms of kind of like Bad Boys. Mm-hmm. But he could be the next Will Smith in terms of Hitch. So I'm like, just, again, you people just need to open your eyes and your minds.
Yes. I could see him, if he were to go back to a TV series, I could see him in one of those like spy workplace drama kind of things, where he's the hacker or the smooth guy who goes undercover sometimes. I still see him as a ladies' man though.
I do too. He has like that. His smile is quite sly.
Yeah.
For all of the sweetness of his
Yes.
face, his smile, I'm like, what the fuck are you thinking right now?
It's disarming.
He is very disarming. And, talking about kind of dream cast, I see him in a medical drama and he's playing like, just this incredibly good, smart doctor. I mean, listen, I don't want him to go on to Grey's, and he's already had his Shonda time, I guess.
Right, yeah.
But I can see him in a white lab coat. I can see him just kind of like, holding the elderly woman's hand as he tells her she's got cancer, but they're going to do everything we can for you, Mrs. Shaw.
Right.
I can see it.
Yeah.
He has like a good young doctor face.
Yeah, and
But
then he
also-
goes home with her granddaughter.
Wow. Accurate though. Yeah. Would watch. 10 out of 10 would watch.
Oh boy.
Yeah. That's Alfie. 10 out of 10 would watch. That's my whole review.
You're always looking out for me. Now it's my turn. I've got you.
We have in the studio with us today one of our favorite people. Yes. Brittany Luce. She's funny, she's witty, she's smart, she's just awesome.
She's podcast royalty as well because
Absolutely.
she's had quite a few podcasts, and the most recent is The Nod, which she co-hosts with Eric Eddings. Prior to The Nod, they used to do For Colored Nerds, which both you and I appeared on independently.
Yes. And I think I was your final episode.
Yeah, you were fine. You were a last guest.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
your history.
Yeah.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
your history. And basically, they just do stuff about race and pop culture and news and all this good stuff. And Brittany herself is from Farmington Hills, Michigan.
That's what they say. That's how people greet each other in Farmington.
Oh,
I'm
really?
sure. I believe you. I believe you.
That's where actually the South got it from us.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Brittany is also a very proud graduate of Howard University. Another sound for Howard
Hey,
University. There it is.
You. Sorry, I'm so sorry. I screwed y'all shit up.
No, that's good. I love HBCU love.
It's great, isn't it? Hello, Brittany. How are you?
I am good. Thank y'all so much for having me. This is so. This is
She's so
a
overcome.
dream come true.
But Brittany,
Yes.
you're here. You're going to talk to us about a couple of guys. The first guy that you're going to be teaching us a little bit, because I'm not fully aware of O'Shea Jackson Jr. And
Oh.
I'm like 20% aware.
Okay.
But I need to be brought up to full 100%, and I feel like you're the person to do it. 'cause
Yes.
That's why I'm here.
Yes.
That's why I'm here.
So help us. Break it down for
Okay.
us.
So O'Shea Jackson Jr. is the son of O'Shea Jackson Sr., better known as Ice Cube.
Right. Today was a
That-
good
that's
day.
exactly right. That's
Solid. Solid.
I
Solid.
almost launched off into the Players Club, this whole soundtrack.
This is the episode of sounds.
This is the most I've actually used O'Shea Jackson Jr.'s full name. I usually just call him Ice Cube's son. I was on a plane, and I saw that they were playing Ingrid Goes West. And I was like, you know what? This is like the perfect thing to watch on a plane. Then there came this scene in the film where Aubrey Plaza's character, Ingrid, is looking for an apartment because she's just moved to L.A.
Right.
And the guy who she rents an apartment from is played by O'Shea Jackson Jr. Oh my God. I saw Straight Outta Compton and I was like, wow, you look just like Ice Cube, number one. And I was like, this guy's actually a pretty good actor. So I'd seen the movie, but like, when you're wearing like a snapback and like a Jerry curl wig. Do you know what I'm saying?
How hot can you be?
You know what I'm saying? It's like I can only get so
Yes.
into the visual.
Yes. Yes.
But then when I saw Ingrid Goes West, I was like, who does he think he is? He was just so like something I think that's missing. First of all, number one thing, which I think y'all would agree with, we are all thirsty out here for a romantic comedy.
Yes.
God.
Do you know what I'm
absolutely.
saying?
Yes. Yes.
Every day.
Every
It's a
day.
prayer point.
Yeah.
Send that shit to like my mom's prayer group.
That's what I'm saying.
Help me out.
We all deserve romantic comedies. And so I think that I find myself sometimes like growing attached to scenes in films that aren't romantic comedies that have some of those similar meet cute elements or like that witty banter back and forth.
Same.
And that was something that really caught me off guard was to see O'Shea Jackson Jr. and Aubrey Plaza, who you don't always think of as like the you don't think of her as like the girl. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
She usually is playing like more of a character actress type of role.
Sure.
So it was like to sort of see her in, and she's definitely in one in Ingrid Goes West. But for like there are brief sort of interludes where her character and O'Shea Jackson Jr.'s character are like hanging out or just talking to each other, and there's like a real legit spark, and he's kind of got like a little smirk going on, and he's got like the good eye contact, and he's got a nice smile, and also he just looks like a. My thing is like what I find appealing in a man is I'm like, do you look like we're gonna snuggle and go to Home Depot?
Ooh,
Because that's
Specific as fuck.
Because that's what's really sexy to me. I'm like, okay, that's great.
Oh, yeah.
Washboard abs, thick hair.
Sure.
Do you know what I'm saying? Bone structure, lots of all those things are great. All those things are great.
Sure.
But do you look like? Could I imagine us snuggling and then going to Home Depot? And when I look at O'Shea Jackson Jr., the answer is always yes.
I
hear
love
you.
that. I love the idea of looking at somebody and just being like, can we go to Home Depot together?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really the root of all my domestic drabbles. I really just want someone who's going to be just at home.
Yeah.
It's like, but can you watch in the 7th hour of Frasier? Can you sit there and just can you deal or can you not? Because if you can't, just get to stepping. Because genuinely, I don't have time. I really would rather be spending this time watching something on Netflix. I don't have to vet you. Do you know what I mean? Like, just sit there and let the gentle comedy wash over you. For
That's what I'm
fuck's
saying.
sake.
That's what I'm saying.
After you saw Ingrid Goes West on the plane, we saw each other at something in Brooklyn, and we were chatting about the show, and you were like, I have so many thoughts about O'Shea Jackson Jr., but of course at the time you said, I have so many thoughts about Ice Cube's son. And I was like, sure, fair.
I may have said that.
That's exactly what you said. And I thought, okay, well, and much like you, I was on a plane coming back from somewhere also.
Hello.
And on the menu, it said, Ingrid Goes West. And I was like, wait, Brittany specifically said that I would find some pleasure and or joy in this. So I clicked it and I watched a good chunk of it before we landed.
Yeah.
But not the whole thing. But you're right. He's so edible. He is so...
saying?
What a snack.
That's what I'm saying.
And he has
And
like
you
this-
you like a hearty snack,
I
right?
like a hearty snack. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid. I mean, I'm not going to lie. I like them however they come. Do you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Because I also
absolutely,
like
yeah.
a short man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
mhm.
I love me a short man. Do you know what I'm saying?
I do.
But I like them however they come.
Yeah.
But so when the blessings are plentiful, I'm grateful.
Yes.
Do you know what I'm saying?
I love it.
The blessings of plentiful.
Do you know what I'm saying?
I know exactly what
Yes.
you're saying. I appreciate that.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, no, I loved him in that film, and I also just felt like his performance was really. It was one of those things where I was like, how was there not more conversation about how good his performance was? Like every time I found him, not just because he's obviously really handsome and sexy and whatever, I found myself like aching to see him in another scene as I
Right.
continued to watch. I was like, is he going to be in the next scene? Just because he brought so much, he just brought so much life to the screen. But then also there was a specific sex scene in the film.
Ooh, tell me about it.
So it's like it's too much to explain, but there's one defining characteristic of his character in this film is that he's obsessed with Batman.
Yes, he is.
Okay.
And so in the sex scene, there's like Ingrid, played by Aubrey Plaza. She knows that, and so she's trying to seduce him. It's weird because you're in a weird moral place as far as the protagonist at that moment in the film, where it's she kind of likes him, but also she's kind of using him. So the seduction is coming out of kind of compromised place, but it's also kind of genuine.
Right,
So she
right.
dresses up in this Catwoman mask. and has these little freaky little nails, like
Yeah.
kind of Catwoman nails.
It's such an interesting scene.
It
Nicole.
is. And it's like one of those things where it's like I think you kind of go in thinking, okay, Ingrid is the only freako over here. Do you know what I'm saying?
Right.
But then you see the way he reacts when she pops out with the Catwoman mask and like the chest scratching. And like, you know,
My face
obviously-
right now, I'm just like, I have to find
It
this
was-
scene.
Yeah,
You
you gotta
do.
find it
You
because
do.
it's like even I'll put it like this: even if that's not something that you're going to do in your sexual off time, right? There's something about seeing somebody, whether it's an actor playing a role or whatever,
Right.
or just genuinely in real life. There's something so exciting about seeing somebody in a sexual situation who just seems down for whatever. Do you know what I
Yes,
mean?
yes.
And like, I definitely got vibes where I was like, "You're an amazing actor, but also
Right.
down for whatever."
Yes. Yes.
And that's what I liked about it. It's like, I think that a lot of times when I see depictions of male sexuality in films and in television, there's like a lack of vulnerability. Do you know what I'm saying? I think that
Yes.
sort of, it makes it difficult to sort of put yourself in the scene. I think it makes it, I think it cuts off actually. It like doesn't help the viewer or really the actor, to me, access desire in a really believable, true, and exciting way.
You need it to be an entry point.
Exactly.
Right? And vulnerability is that entry point. Like if you see someone looking a little bit less than like secure, less than like they know everything, that kind of opens up the door to kind of like, okay, now I can, that's how you slither in.
Yeah.
You know? And I think that's a very interesting thing to kind of have in a sex scene, because it means that suddenly you think this person is human.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
but yeah, that scene, oh, because I, much like you, when it started, wow, that love. When it started, I was like, oh, this is icky, because like you said, she's using him and
Yeah.
it's weird. And then he's kind of like, no one's getting used here. We're all in this together. And I was like,
Yeah.
okay. What a
Yeah.
scene.
Oh, it was.
Nicole, you got to watch
Yeah.
it.
I'm going to have to find this scene.
I thought about that scene for a long time. I pushed it back. I was on the plane, like, I'm sure the person sitting next to me was like, what the fuck is she doing? But I was sitting on the plane, I was like, no, we need to replay this again. It was just so, it like actually, like, it was kind of goofy. It was weird. But like, it was also something that you could tell that they were both 100%, like, both of those characters were so 100% invested
Yeah.
in like, the moment
Yeah.
that it was just like it made it actually a joy to watch. When you have sex with somebody that you really like and like somebody that you actually feel like is into sex in the same way that you are, like there's like a certain like game recognized game.
Yeah,
you know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah.
And I think that like that's what like that it's like you have the excitement of like, okay, this person's on my level, but also like the vulnerability of like, ooh, this is totally new. And like I think that there's like a certain vulnerability in the even just having the ability to be impressed. I could see that he was impressed in that moment. And I was like, that's a lot closer. Like all of those emotions are a lot closer to what I think good sex is like in real life,
Yeah.
which is missing a lot of the time from movies.
Yeah. What's the guy who gives sex and relationship advice? And he says it's the 3 Gs.
Oh, Dan Savage?
Yeah, Dan Savage. He's like the 3 Gs: good, giving, and game. So that's what sounds like is happening in this scene. That his character is good, giving, and game, like down to try whatever, but also gonna give what he needs to give.
Yeah. God.
Hey.
Yeah.
Couple ground rules, okay?
Okay.
I need you to tell everyone that you're my boyfriend. It's a long story, but I just need you to
No,
say that
I get
to
it.
everyone.
I see that you dig me. I dig you. I'll be your boyfriend. I'll be your boy.
Okay, whatever. And also, no Batman talk.
What am I supposed to talk about? I don't know these people.
We've got O'Shea in Straight Out of Compton. Ingrid Goes West. He was in a movie called Den of Thieves, and I think he's either working on a second one, a sequel to that. And then he's also going to be in this movie coming out next year called Godzilla, King of the Monsters.
They're making another
Sure.
Godzilla film?
Yeah.
Why not?
You know, they're making this,
We'll never be full of Godzilla.
well,
More.
you know how Marvel has the Marvel Cinematic Universe and DC has the Extended Universe. So now there's one of these movie production companies, they have a monster universe. So it's like Kong and now Godzilla and all this kind of stuff. I don't know if they're going to have a something connecting them beyond the fact that these are
I mean,
monsters. But all that to say,
Yes, he's got stuff coming up.
he's got stuff coming up, but we
needs
we
more
want,
stuff.
we need to see
No,
more of
I
him.
want to see more of him. I've noticed that, like, I think that he's getting a lot of. I'm sure this is like part of what it's like to be a black male actor. Is like you just get a lot of like Den of Thieves or like Godzilla, like sort of like the actiony, that type of thing, like the heist. Capery stuff.
Yep.
But I think that like when I saw between seeing him in Ingrid Goes West and also Straight Outta Compton, I'm like, this dude can like do it. Like I want to see
He has the
him.
range.
He has like the potential, talent wise and like charisma wise, to have a really like broad career. Like, and I'd love to see him have like. We all deserve a romantic. We deserve like 10 black romantic comedies a year.
Yes.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Every
minimum.
year.
Yes.
Shout out to Taye Diggs and Sanaa Lathan. They've done their time.
They've done
Right.
their time. Like, let's hand it
We need
over.
we need a new generation of
Yeah.
rom-coms.
I know Shay would fit in so well because, like you said, he does have so much range. He's done art house. He's done action. He's done, I don't know, I guess Straight Outta Compton is sort of a historical document.
Yes.
All of it. He's done it. He can do it. And like you
Yes.
said, he does have this raw charisma. Because I was watching Ingrid Goes West on this tiny little, airplane screen.
Yeah.
And I was invested in this guy. And I was like, what's going on? Where's his car? What's going to happen? I was so invested in him.
Yes.
So that was the thing. And because I had gone in with your bracing recommendation, my eyes were so open. And I was like, Brittany was right. Brittany was right. This motherfucker is charismatic and he can do it.
He can do it.
Just give it to him.
I believe in him.
Okay.
Yeah.
We all do.
Aw, that's so sweet.
I'm telling you, you gotta see this.
Oh my God. Just adjusted your brow as you did that. You gotta see the scene. All right, so we're going to move on to another. This is one of my favorites, one of Nicole's favorite, one of your favorites, Brittany. I just want to hug him and feed him. I feel like he's just such a babe. Steven Yeun.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh,
Wow.
just first of all, amazing cheekbones.
Yeah, amazing everything.
That's
Yeah.
true. He also has just the most wonderfully expressive eyes. I mean, truly,
Yeah.
there's like 10 different stories going on, and he's just communicating with his eyes. This motherfucker can just act.
Yeah.
He can act. He's
Ugh.
so talented
And
and
so
handsome.
talented. And handsome. He just has this incredible, like we said, everything. Congrats on your face. Congrats on your everything.
Yeah.
He's charismatic.
Yeah.
He is just this presence. He has like the stillness to him that I really enjoy. I first saw him in The Walking Dead. Now, Nicole, you don't watch The Walking Dead.
No.
That's fine.
Me either. I don't.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I'm dealing with some people.
But the
who
thing
don't.
is, your thirst for him, your recommendations for him
Yeah.
have,
They've penetrated.
yes,
Yeah, that's
they've
cool.
rippled out.
Thirst has ripples.
Yes.
You're right. You're completely right. Thank you, poet. But true. Like, it's never been more apparent to me that you're actually a poet by training. Of course. But, like, I have like three solid thirst objects on The Walking Dead. The first, and just the king of it all, is Andrew Lincoln.
Right.
Second is Danai Gurira, because she is just everything.
Oh,
Yeah.
And Stephen is very close third. Like, they're all in this basket of hotness. Just all of them
I
together.
like that. A basket of
I like
hotness.
that.
Yeah.
It makes me actually want to watch the show.
It's so good. And well, it was good. Now it's like less than good. But it was great for like the first 4-5 seasons. Just solid fucking gold. And a big part of that is Steven Yeun, who plays Glenn, who is very much the emotional and I suppose the human core of the story about death and decay and like, the zombie apocalypse. And the thing about Steven Yeun is even when he was firing on all cylinders on The Walking Dead, when giving all he could based on what they'd given him, even then you knew they were underusing him. Brittany, you have thoughts about Steven also as well.
I had never seen Walking Dead before in my life, but I saw Sorry to Bother You when I was at South by Southwest, which was awesome. It was so good. But Steven Yeun was in it, and I was just like there's this scene where he is talking to like a main female character in the film, and they're having conversation. I'm trying not to give too much away, but he's having conversation with one of the main women in the film, and he it was like his character was so well, there were two things happening. So one, his character was so like swaggerly and like
Oh,
and like
yes.
confident and
Yeah.
like
That's how he is in real life. Like Glenn is like this really mild character, and then you see him in interviews, and I'm like, oh my god, Steven.
Yeah. It disappoints me to hear that that's kind of how his character was on Walking Dead. In my mind, when I was watching Sorry to Bother You, I was like, I love that this characterization runs counter to many of like the stereotypes and assumptions you see about Asian men
Right.
Yeah.
in movies and TV. And like, he was so sexy and so fine. Like his character was just that guy. And like I loved it. Like every single scene that he was in, it was just like he was doing something. It was like he was electric. Like he was just doing something exciting. And like the way, I don't know, like it was like he was giving off something very visceral and that like felt in certain scenes like very sexual, which was cool. Like it was one of those things where I was just like, oh, like you never, like when I think about that one sex scene between Gabrielle Union and John Cho from that,
Yes.
was it Flash Forward?
Yes.
Yes, it was Flash Forward.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the canceled ABC like
Yeah.
show from like what, a decade ago. Like I remember seeing that scene and being like, okay, here is an East Asian man like getting it the fuck in. You
Yes.
know what I'm saying? Like
Yes.
getting it in. And I was like, yeah, like just because like you don't really like obviously people are people. People do what they do. People come in all come in
Yes.
all ways, right?
Yes.
So it's like it's very bizarre to me as like somebody who loves seeing people of color on screen to continue to see the same sort of boring tropes recycled over and over again. So when I saw Sorry to Bother You and I saw Steven Yeun in that role, I was like, this feels like a really refreshing departure. And also too, like when you going back to what you said, Ben, about his eyes. There were points where he was it was like whole ass sentences. Like he was just communicating
Yeah.
in a way that I was just like, okay, I feel this. Like it was one of those things where it was just like, okay, like I follow him on Instagram now. I know that he's like, he seems like he's also from Michigan, super big
Yes.
Detroit Pistons fan. And like, he seems like a really nice family guy. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
You know
He
what I'm
got
saying?
married recently. He's got a little kid.
Yeah, cute.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
So cute.
Yeah.
But like when I saw when I saw him in Sorry to Bother You, I was just like, now I'm like, we all need more of this man.
Yes.
Like this is
Yes.
good. You have your real life. I support you.
Of course.
Great. This man though, like this character that you have pulled out here needs to be like in everything. Like,
Yeah.
I just need like
I'm so
I was
intrigued.
Like, who is that? And then I saw him on Ugly Delicious.
Yes,
Oh,
so I'm
yeah.
going to talk about that too because I saw him in
Yes.
Ugly Delicious as well, and I was just like, God, he's just so dreamy.
Yeah, and he seems like
So
a cool
dreamy.
guy.
Cool
That was
guy.
the other
Smart,
thing. He seems like a
funny,
cool guy.
intelligent and engaging, and again, not someone who talks over. You know, he's not trying to like assert himself into like this alpha. He's just so comfortable, and the thing that you were saying also about the nature of some of the roles he's played recently, that was also the case when he did Mayhem, which came out last year, and the critics again went nuts about this. Apparently, there's like a really hot and heavy sex scene in that as well that he's a part of, and I'm like, I've got to rent Mayhem ASAP. Yeah, it's a lot. It's a whole lot. But apparently in that as well, and the critics, there was one review I read in particular that made mention of the way, what did they say? They said something like the camera loves Steven Yeun. And I was like, that's it exactly.
Yeah.
He has, and again, he has like the swag in it, and he's, you know, even the trailer, like at one point he's kind of bloodied and his shirt is all torn and he's kind of walking, and I'm just like, walk this way. Yes. It's just nice. And I was like, oh, Steven. Like literally I got like a catch in my throat. Steven, what? Like, I didn't know you could do that. And he could, and he does. And I'm so glad that he's doing that. But then, you know, you've mentioned Sorry to Bother You. He's going to be in this film that got a 5-minute standing ovation at Cannes called Burning. It's based on a Murakami story.
Oh, wow.
Apparently that's doing gangbusters. It's just like a really good, I think it's like number 3 in the Korean box office right now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he's doing really, really well. And he also, when you hear, you know, he's done so many of these interviews, especially post Walking Dead. And he did one in particular with Vulture's Alex Young, who has also been a guest on our show. Remember him from the live show. And he was so open and so honest, and he's just talking about his experience, and he's talking also, you know, he tweets a lot about this as well, just like, you know, reminder to Asian kids, you can be whatever you want to be, but remember, be yourself. Because he was talking about how he suppressed, you know, he was saying how he always saw himself as a funny person, like, you know, he's, and I can tell he's a funny guy,
Yeah.
and how he kind of felt that got a bit compressed, and he was pushed into certain roles, and so that thing about seeing yourself how the world sees you as opposed to how you see yourself.
Yo.
And it's something that has been echoed by another East Asian actor, John Cho, talking a lot about the feeling of I don't want to do this, but also I don't know what you won't see me any other way. It's very difficult. And again, this thing about that tightrope of what I want to do and what I'm being allowed to do.
Right. Taking on these roles that you don't want to do to get to the roles that you actually want to do.
Right. And in many ways, The Walking Dead was like a big break for him because he wasn't required to be stereotypically Asian. He wasn't. He was like this. He was exciting and he was adventurous and he was gung-ho and he did all these things. And he didn't have like the immediate kind of like, fucking cloak of sexual danger about him. But he also was kind of like, he was like this hot dude who went after stuff. And there's a scene in the second season where he gets with Maggie.
Okay, so I have never seen the show, but when I watched Ugly Delicious, I believe they played
a clip of it.
They played a clip of it, and I was like, hold up.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. And that was the first time that I was like, I might need to see.
You see his butt, like he takes off his shirt. Yeah, and
I don't even like butts, but
I was gonna say they don't put enough men's butts on TV for me.
They don't.
That's just me.
But this is the thing. Let me tell you something. The Walking Dead has never gone that dirty again. And at a time when we need it with Rick and Michonne, but that's a story for another day. But my point is, that sex scene was specifically very, very hot. I really, truly, truly love it. And, we've spoken about his eyes and so on. But Nicole, you also enjoy something else about Steven Yeun.
His hair. Anybody who's listened to maybe like 3 episodes of our show knows how I feel about hair. I like men with hair. I think it was for that Vulture interview. There were some pictures, and he's got like this bedhead look happening where his hair is standing up in these big cowlicks.
Now that's a face of a leading man,
isn't it?
That's the face of a leading man.
In one picture, he's looking, silly, making a funny face, and then the other one, he looks kind of sad and
pouty and hot.
Yeah. So I just like that a lot, and I've seen him in interviews, and he's so playful and again charismatic and also just kind of sultry, and not in a way that he's like being creepy to the interviewers or anything like that, but it's just like that's his own aura, that's his own vibe, and he's so laid back and like if he were available, he would let you know that he was available. You know what I mean?
I know what you mean.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. He's just very attractive. Like he attracts, I think, because he's so confident.
Yes.
He's so confident. And, everything he says, you think, God, he wanted to say that. He doesn't trip over his words. Like he says, and he's so funny and goofy. Like he'll make all these jokes and he's such a confident comedy performer as well, which is why, I'm so excited to see Mayhem, because this idea of him kind of being a little bit dark, kind of edged and funny with it. I'm just very into it. So yeah, cast him in more things. Yes, he's got a load of stuff coming up, but you can always have. That's it.
Yes, and keep him being a sexual person. How about that?
Yes.
We still have 11 condoms.
Yeah, you see 11 condoms. I see 11 minutes of my life I'm never getting back.
It wasn't that bad, was it?
I feel like you should sign into every contract. So I'm gonna fuck in this film.
Yes,
just write it down so that everyone's just kind of like, oh, okay. Just shoehorn it in somehow, because it's just nice to see. I don't even mean that in like a pervy way. I'm just saying representation fucking matters.
It really does.
Thing to say,
it really does.
I mean, I know this. Look, they put a lot of goofy people. They put a lot of goofy people in movies and on television.
Talk about it.
Very appealing. It's a thing that it comes down to for me. Attraction and like being appealing and sex and sexuality are such a huge part of the way you live your life. You know what I mean? And there are so few depictions that feel right or feel true or feel like there's genuine attraction in them.
It's not just a script that you're reading from, but it feels real.
Exactly. And so then to sort of like to see that also with like and then the chances of like seeing a person of color, do you know what I mean, in that same situation that feels true and that feels real is so rare. It's even rarer to see a person of color in like a sexual situation in a film that feels exciting or true or like, you know what I'm saying, just like genuinely like appealing.
Right.
So it's just like, give me more.
Yes.
Give me more. There are people out there that can do the work. You know?
Listen.
There's people out there that can do the work.
They're just waiting for the casting directors to just kind of like remove their blinkers. Not every day a muscled Chris. Love you, Chris Evans. But, I feel like we can broaden the palette so
Yes.
much, and it doesn't take away from anybody else.
No.
But it opens up the door to so much more goodness. Like you were saying, the relatability factor. I want to be able to. Stephen Yeun just looks like truly. He should have any number of Boy Next Door jobs.
Yes.
Yes.
Because he is the hot boy
Yes.
next door.
Yeah.
Yes.
So make it happen.
Yes.
O'Shea Jackson, make it happen.
Make it happen. He
Rahul
needs to-
Kohli, make it happen.
Yes.
Alfie Enoch, make it happen. Oh, just more. Give us more.
Love them all.
Ugh.
Yes.
So much love.
Brittany,
Yes.
tell us where we can find you on the internet.
You can find me on Twitter at BMLoose, Luse, or at The Nod Show. You can find The Nod wherever you listen to podcasts. Me and Eric and the rest of our team we're just trying to, look, we put some down the feed every single week.
Yeah.
Christmas,
Good.
New Year's,
We
Memorial
appreciate
Day.
it. We appreciate
Yes,
your
so
work.
Love it.
find us, man. Holler at us. Holler at us.
We're so glad you came in.
Yes,
This has
thank
been
you.
one of the thirstiest and just the most, what a pleasurable
you.
way to
Yes.
come back to
Thank
work.
you.
Come back very soon, please.
Look, I'll come back. Y'all know there's somebody that y'all wouldn't let me talk about.
We'll come back to it.
Okay.
I'm there with you, though. I'm there with
Okay.
you.
We'll come back. We'll come back to it.
Okay,
There
good.
with you, though.
Thank you.
Thanks, Brittany.
All right. Well, this was a delightful episode, just full of thirsty goodness and the incredible talents of Brittany Luce.
Yes, Brittany
love her.
She's a professional grade thirster, and I appreciate her for that because she never lets me down.
Yeah.
Gotta have Brittany back on.
Are you ready to get into some fanfic wars?
I'm ready for war. I mean, that's a lie. I'm not ready for war at all. I'm actually grossly underprepared. But yeah, I think it's interesting that we both selected the same person this week. In a group episode, oftentimes one person will pick someone another. And this time we were like, I know who
Yes.
I'm writing about.
Only one person that we could write about. And that is Stephen Yeun.
Yes.
And, I did something a little different.
Oh, did you?
Yes.
Oh, God. Why is it going to be?
No. It's not,
Is it in a play format?
No.
Oh my God. Just stop. Okay. I'm going to let you go first because
Okay.
I feel like you have it all. You look enthusiastic and I want to reward your enthusiasm.
Because it's something a little different
All right.
than what I normally do.
Let me find out it's exactly what I wrote. But anyway, go on.
Here it is. I sit on the couch and watch a Frasier episode while Stephen packs his things. I refuse to help him walk out of my life. He refuses eye contact. On the show, Niall sniffs Daphne's hair and I turn the TV off. Stephen enters the living room, his hair standing all over his head in that I'm worried pattern, cowlicks leaning to the right. It takes everything I have not to walk up to him and smooth his hair back into place, like I've done a million times before. I can't fix him up anymore. I can't be the reason he wakes up with bedhead anymore. Stephen drops my keys on the console and walks over to me where I stare at the TV screen, its ghostly reflections of us two on the nose for this moment. He leans over and tries to kiss my forehead, but I turn my mouth to him and taste tears on his goodbye. I won't help him leave. I won't make this easy for him, and I won't stop this kiss as the cold sting of farewell becomes the sweet heat of making one last memory together.
You're a fucking menace. You can get the fuck out. You can't see, but our producer is looking through the little booth window like, what the fuck? Every bloody week. Jesus. Nicole, well, you know what? That was different. And I appreciate it being different because, we contain multitudes. And,
Yeah.
this time it's a farewell.
Yeah.
You're killing it, baby.
Sometimes that's a part of relationships too,
I mean, I guess. All right. Well, mine is not that sad. Oh, my God. He had a bit of Frasier, a bit of Niles, a bit of Daphne.
Yeah.
I thought it was interesting that I didn't know you were going to say Frasier, and I was chatting Frasier earlier. Look at that.
Yes.
Oh my God, we're morphing
Yes.
into
it's
one
so
another.
weird how in sync we are sometimes.
I love a mind meld. Oh my God, I love a mind meld. All right. So let me read mine, which is far, far less angsty. But, you know, for a balanced diet, you need some angst with some, you know, all the other stuff. So let's go. I looked over at Stephen's easel and nearly spit out my drink. What the hell is that? I squeezed out in a hiss. He looked over at me mildly, though I could see the mirth twitching at the sides of his mouth, bursting to be set free. What's it look like? It's a lady. He picked up his wine and took a healthy sip. I looked at the artwork we were supposed to be recreating, Van Gogh's Starry Night, posted up in front of the class, and back at Stephen's own rendition. I raised an eyebrow, and he raised his, even higher, right back. They said to paint what you feel, and what I feel in this moment is this lady. Look closer. He brought his stool a little closer to mine with one hand and gestured back at his artwork with the brush in his other hand. He bumped my shoulder with his and nodded. Look. So I looked, and then I saw it. The woman in the painting had a nose ring. Her arms were extended in a pose familiar to me because I made that same pose every single day.
Bitch.
The brown of her skin was the brown of mine. It's me, I said. He laughed, ran his hand over his head. It's you.
Get out. Get out. No, you have to leave now. Get out. Oh my God, he painted you in the stars.
Just a little thing, just a little sip and draw. That was it. You know, something I've wanted to do for a while. So I did it with Stephen in this drabble, this fake fucking scenario. Yeah, that's what I did.
Get out.
I shan't. I'm going to sit right here. I shan't leave.
Beautiful. I love it so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So there you have it. 2 different flavors of Stephen Yeun.
Yes.
You like salty and you like sweet. We got them both.
I'm really upset by that drabble. Get out.
It's a good... Listen, if I can only destabilize and discombobulate you half as much as you do me, then I feel like I've had a really good day at the office. So today feels like a real win for me, Nicole.
My gosh.
I feel
my
really
bra
fulfilled.
feels like too tight now.
Oh,
like,
God.
it's just like, get out.
Whatever you do, please do not unclasp that bra. Just keep the girls contained, please. Can you do that for me?
I will try.
Thank you very much. Now, of course, listeners, you get the chance to vote. We put this... Oh, my God, Nicole, stop touching your boobs.
I really am touching like I'm trying to hold them in place. They're going to burst out and like fly around the planet to find Stephen Yeun.
Oh, my God. Poor man. He doesn't even know right now there are boobs en route to him wherever he is in the world. It's like, what the hell? It's Nicole Perkins' breast. Listen, we're going to wait a little day and then we're going to put up the poll up on our Twitter, which is at First Aid Kit on Twitter. And you can vote for either, like I said, Salty Stephen, the salt of his tears, the salt of a goodbye, or Sweet Stephen, who has painted someone into the painting at the sip and draw class. It's up to you. Everybody wins, though, so it's not really a competition in like the grandest sense, but we're going to call it fanfic wars because, you know, that's the kind of world we live in. Mm-hmm. All right. I guess that's it, Nicole.
Yeah.
It's been a very thirsty episode.
Yes.
Shout out to Brittany, who also brought her own new level of thirst. Shout out to all 4 of the Gimme Mores from this episode.
Yes, we've got Raul Coley, Alfred Enoch, O'Shea Jackson Jr., and Stephen Yeun.
Yes. So listen, if you're a casting director and you're listening to this show, I know so many casting directors do love First Aid Kit. If you are listening to this show right now, I urge you to just go seek out the show reels of these 4 men, but more importantly, the show reels of a number of other young people out there in Hollywood. Some of them old too, some middle-aged, whatever. Cast your net a little bit wider. Try your best to not go for the same old, same old.
Yes.
So much talent in these streets.
We've got a new generation out there. We're ready for them.
Well, I'm ready.
Yeah.
Wow.
First Aid Kit is produced by us, Nicole Perkins and Bim Adewunmi, Julia Furlan, and TK Dutess. Our music is by Tanya Morgan.
We're on Twitter, and you can follow the show at First Aid Kit. Both Nicole and I are on Twitter at Bimadew, Bimadew, and Nicole is at TN Whiskey Woman, whiskey with an E, TN Whiskey Woman. We're also on Tumblr, where you can send us questions via the Ask box. Find us at thirstaidkitpodcast.tumblr.com, and while we might take some time to reply, we really, really want to hear from you.
If you need the services of the Thirst Sommeliers, call and leave a brief message on 765-884-4778. That's 765-8-THIRST. Or you can also send us, again, a very brief voice note if you're not in the U.S., and you can email it to thirstaidkit@buzzfeed.com.
Listen, we eat ratings and reviews for breakfast, so please head over to Apple Podcasts and leave a review because we're narcissistic, yes. But more importantly, it'll help other people find and discover Thirst Aid Kit. If you love us, please give us 5 stars.
If you live tweet your listen, please use the hashtag TACPOD. That's TAKPOD.
We'll be back next week. Stay thirsty in the meantime. We love you lots and we hope you're relaxed.
Bye.
Bye. Rahul Kohli is just like a bearded steak.
Yes.
Just nice.
Yes.
I had a steak this weekend, can you tell?
Yes.